children of all ages. The Nerdy Man Room Show proudly brings you Cards Subject to Change with Hassel. And this week, we dove deep cut wise as we went into what if J-E-F-F, J-A-R-R-E-T-T, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, did not leave the WWF in 1999. So those of you who may have flash photography memory, so for those of you who don't, let me go do a deep dive for you. So in 1999, Jeff Jarrett left the WWF for WCW, greener pastures, so to speak, where he went on to win about 3 or 4 WCW championships. I should know which or the other, but it was multiple. It is what it is, people. It's been a long day. However, he moved from the WWF to WCW to go have the stroke, so to speak, and to win world titles, etc., etc. Truth of the matter is, the whole reason he jumped ship from one to the other is because, one, they were going to cut his pay, and it's all over bullshit with Steve Austin. So by this point, Steve Austin is the megastar and the biggest wrestler on the planet by this point. So at this point, due to a past payoff between Jeff Jarrett's father, Jerry Jarrett, and stunning Steve Austin way back in the day, and lack thereof, apparently there was a little bit of disrespect as Steve's checking his check out and Jeff walks by and says, "Son, it's not getting any bigger." It was a joke, is what it is, but apparently Steve Austin, as great as he was in the ring, had a pretty frail ego, and it stuck with him throughout the years. So when Jeff Jarrett returned from WCW in late 97, early 98, the first thing he did was squash Jarrett, because Jarrett cut a promo saying something about the Austin 316 being blasphemous. So the first thing he goes out there, stuns Jarrett, leaves him laying in the ring. Well, Jarrett still goes on to refine his character and becoming the more edgier, abandoning the country music and becoming the edgy Jeff Jarrett, what we know today. So when this happened, Austin still, no matter the fact that Jarrett was one of the top mid-card heels in the company and was on that cusp of reaching that next level, Austin said, "I won't work with him. He's not on my level." JR being Austin's bitch. There's no nice way to say it. JR was Austin's bitch back then. They had talent relations. He basically told Jeff, "Hey, your downside guarantee is going down. We only see you as an Intercontinental Champion," etc., etc. Jeff bet on himself, and it worked out pretty damn well for him throughout the years. But what if? What if he didn't? What if he chose to stay with the WWF? What if Vince McMahon finally pulled his head out of Austin's ass and said, "No, you will work with this guy because he is getting heat like a son of a gun, and we're going to see what can happen here." That's what we're about to dive in today with what if Jeff Jarrett stayed with the World Wrestling Federation in 1999. Let's dive in the meat and potatoes, people. On the Raw after No Mercy, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out pissed off over losing to Triple H in last night's WWF title match. Before he can even cut his promo, Jarrett's music hits. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, we are abandoning that country music bullshit he had back then. And we're going to give him his cowboy theme that he had in WCW, because Vince could afford it if WCW could. Jarrett comes out and says, No, hell no. I don't give a rat's ass about Steve Austin's bitching about his 400th title match last night when I hadn't even had one. It was Sean and his little clique holding me back in 93, so I left and I returned, and last night I get back and get a stunner followed by good old JR, his wiping his barbecue sauce frown off his face going, "Jeff, Steve don't want to work with you. He feels like you're beneath him. And that's why, Steve, all because you feel my father stiffed you on a payday when you were a green rookie who wasn't worth the $50 he was paying you anyways. So I reinvented myself. No longer Double J, I won tag titles. I won 6 Intercontinental Championships. But I'm beneath you no more. Starting tonight, you and the WWF will see that it's Jeff Jarrett along with the stroke around here. Because you done pissed me off. Austin, you know Austin at the time. Well, it's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on, son. But I get what you're going. You got an ass in the ring, and I'll collect that payday from you instead of your father. And you will be my bitch tonight. Now, at this point, this will pop the king, who will be like, oh, no, JR. I thought it was my baby, not my bitch. Blows begin to blow between Austin and Jarrett. And as Austin goes for the stunner, Jarrett actually counters and nails the stroke. This will be massive for Jeff Jarrett, as he wouldn't just be fed to Austin in this segment. He would actually counter the stunner, which was very rare back then, but it did happen, people. And he would nail the stroke, solidifying himself as a top heel within the company in a time when they actually needed top heels. Triple H was not Triple H at this point. He was in his early stages, his infancy with Stephanie McMahon. The Rock was becoming a babyface again at the time. So heel-wise, they were very limited. Kurt Angle had not taken off yet. You just didn't have it, folks. The Big Show was so-so. Undertaker was in and out during injuries. It just was what it was. They could use Jarrett. Next week on Raw is Jeff Jarrett versus D'Lo Brown. Jarrett has the match won when out of nowhere, Austin hits a stunner on Jarrett and opens a can of whoop-ass on him to end the show. The Raw before Survivor Series. We get Jeff Jarrett versus Steve Austin. If Jarrett wins, he is added to the WWF Championship match at the Survivor Series. This is a brawl, and as soon as Stone Cold hits the ring, mid-match out of nowhere, the British Bulldog makes his return ringside. Davey Boy draws Austin's attention, allowing Jarrett to get the upper hand. Jarrett nails a stroke on Austin. But then WWF Champion Triple H hits the ring and blasts Austin with the title, drawing the DQ. Triple H tells him, we aren't adding any more damn people to this match right here. Jarrett is pissed. At the time, The Rock arrives to fight off Triple H. Jarrett and Bulldog, they put the turn on Austin and put them things on him, double power bombing him through the announce table. Jarrett, Austin, if I'm not in the match, neither will you be. At the Survivor Series, November 1999, we get Kevin Kelly interviewing Stone Cold Steve Austin, asking if he is 100%. Austin, a 75% Stone Cold is better than Triple H and The Rock any day of the week, son. Then he goes back to says he will win his WWF Championship back tonight. And Jeff Jarrett, your ass is next. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Later on, the British Bulldog would lure Austin into the parking lot when a car hits Austin out of nowhere, sending him flying up over the top of it. And this time, people, it won't be Rikishi going, I did it for The Rock. Yeah, we're abandoning that shit, people. The winner rolls down, and it's none other than Double J, Jeff Jarrett, behind the wheel. Bulldog gets in, and they speed off. Austin is taken to the hospital. The Big Show takes Stone Cold's place and wins the WWF Championship yet again. It just happens, people. Some things are just meant to be. Raw opens up with Mr. McMahon announcing that Steve Austin will be out of action for at least a year. He demands that Jarrett and Bulldog come down and face their consequences. When the two men hit the ring, unsure of his motives, Vince hugs both men. Thank you. I wanted that son of a bitch gone, and you finished him. As a reward, Jeff, at Armageddon, you will finally get your WWF Championship opportunity against The Big Show. You want the stroke? Well, you got it. Win the title and become my corporate champion. How about tonight? I reward you both with a tag team title match against the Hardys. Jeff and Bulldog shake McMahon's hand. Jarrett, Vince, since you got yourself a corporate tag team. In the main event, we get Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and the Bulldog winning the WWF Tag Team titles from the Hardys when the Bulldog hits a running power slam on Matt. At Armageddon, December 1999, we get WWF Champion The Big Show versus Jeff Jarrett with the British Bulldog. We get a solid match here. Jeff making Big Show shine in this match right here. Big Show had yet to really solidify himself. He had been with the company for close to a year now and really was very hit and miss during this era. He had a title, in his actual run, he had a title match at this pay-per-view with the Big Boss Man that was a stinker. So Jeff Jarrett could make Big Show look like a real star here. Bulldog would distract the ref Earl Hebner as Jeff Jarrett nails a guitar. Oh, and then the stroke on the Big Show to win the title and become the new WWF Champion, Jeff Jarrett. Later in the main event, Jarrett and Bulldog would help Vince McMahon defeat Triple H. That's right, people. Triple H with Stephanie McMahon is not going to beat Vince McMahon tonight, not at Armageddon. Not tonight. On Raw, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon open the show, calling out Jarrett and Bulldog for costing them the match against Vince. The tag champs come out and run down Triple H pretty damn quick. Vince comes out and announces that on SmackDown it will be Bulldog versus Triple H for the European title in a no disqualification match. SmackDown European Champion British Bulldog versus the WWF with WWF Champion Jeff Jarrett versus Triple H with Stephanie McMahon. We get a fun heel versus heel matchup here. Lots of cheering for both men. But Jarrett eventually nails Steph with the guitar, distracting Triple H, who Bulldog hits with a running power slam to pick up the win over Triple H. That's right, people. Bulldog, he is getting a little love and a push in my WWF. At the Royal Rumble, we get a triple threat matchup for the WWF Championship as we get champion Jeff Jarrett versus Mankind versus Triple H. We get a great 4-star matchup here with Triple H picking up the win and the title by pinning Mankind after Stephanie clocks him with brass knuckles. That's right, they screwed Jarrett out of the title, furthering the Mankind Triple H feud. The Rock will go on to still win the Royal Rumble and get the title match at WrestleMania. On Raw, new champion Triple H comes out and he cuts a promo on Mankind and Jarrett. Bulldog comes out and fires back on Triple H, who has to defend his title against Mankind later in the night. Bulldog has Triple H when Jarrett sneaks up behind and blasts Triple H with the guitar, laying him out. In the main event, we get the British Bulldog. In the main event, let's do that again. We get Mankind winning the WWF Championship from Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the help of Jarrett and Bulldog. Jarrett would stare Foley down at the end of Raw, though, as Foley secures the title. The next week on Raw, Kane and X-Pac would challenge the tag team champions Bulldog and Jarrett, who's had the title for a little bit of time now. The tag champs have the victory in their clutches when Triple H hits Jarrett with his own guitar. X-Pac pins Jarrett to become the new WWF Tag Team Champions as Kane and X-Pac stand victorious over Jeff Jarrett. On SmackDown, we get Jarrett versus Kane. But before the bell rings, you guessed it, people, guitar to Kane. Jarrett and Bulldog work Kane over real good as Vince comes down to announce on Raw it will be Jeff Jarrett versus Triple H in a title versus Mankind. Whoever wins gets the title match at No Way Out. Bulldog, however, will be banned from ringside. Jarrett needs to prove his worthiness to continue getting his stroke. On Raw, a number one contendership match between Triple H with Stephanie McMahon versus Jeff Jarrett and Deborah. Solid matchup right here. Jeff showing why Vince chose him as he looks great. Mankind is ringside for commentary. Triple H hits Jarrett with the pedigree for a 1, 2, and 3/4 when Deborah pulls Jeff's foot onto the rope. Helmsley gives chase to Deborah, but Foley defends her. They begin to fight outside as Jarrett has the ref distracted. Mankind hits Helmsley with a barbed wire bat and rolls Helmsley back into the ring. Jarrett steals the win and the title match at No Way Out. And No Way Out for the WWF Championship. We get challenger Jeff Jarrett versus champion Mankind in a hardcore matchup. Jarrett comes down to the ring with Deborah. WWF champion Mankind comes out, but halfway down the ring, he pulls a swerve on us and he ditches his Mankind attire to reveal he is none other than Cactus Jack. Bang, bang! That's right, people. We're going to give Cactus Jack a little love here. He does the transformation. Both men use everything that is not tied down as a weapon. The Bulldog makes his way down, but The Rock makes his way down also to make the save, chasing Bulldog back to the back. However, Helmsley would return the favor on Foley, attacking him with a barbed wire bat. Jarrett would then blast Jack with his guitar and get the dub to become the new WWF champion, Jeff Jarrett, for the second time. That's right, people. It's 99 into 2000, people. We had these things, they happen weekly. Raw, we get a WrestleMania 2000 build kicking off. We get a great promo between The Rock and the new champion, Jeff Jarrett. Vince would announce that it would be The Rock versus Bulldog tonight. If The Rock loses, he loses his WrestleMania title match. It's gone. This leads to an amazing main event with The Rock and the Bulldog working a solid matchup. Bulldog would look great and have a match won at one point due to Jarrett and Deborah interfering when out of nowhere, Stone Cold Steve Austin returns and blasts the Bulldog upside the head with a steel chair for the 1, 2, 3. The Rock and Jarrett looks to have a great match at WrestleMania as The Rock would win and go on. On SmackDown, Linda McMahon comes out and announces while Austin may not be cleared to compete, he is cleared and approved to be the special guest referee for the WWF Championship match at WrestleMania. We get a fun build up to WrestleMania with Austin, The Rock, and Jarrett within the family drama of the McMahons. This would have been really fun and would have been far greater than that four-way crap we got at WrestleMania 2000. So at WrestleMania 2000, the main event, April 2nd, 2000, we get The Rock versus WWF champion Jeff Jarrett with Deborah, along with special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. This ends up being a 5-star Meltzer match. We get a great roller coaster back and forth with Austin teasing tension between both The Rock and Jarrett. Rock goes for the rock bottom, but Jarrett counters with the stroke. 1, 2, 3/4. The Rock kicks out. We get Jarrett accusing Austin of a slow count when, bam! Then the tease of the rattlesnake goes to nail Jarrett with a stunner. The fight back begins to his feet, but the people's elbow on Jarrett. 1, 2, 3/4. The Rock is now in disbelief. Both men have had near falls, both men faulting Austin for the count. The Rock begins to challenge all with Stone Cold when Deborah revives Jarrett, who goes for another stroke on The Rock, but The Rock counters with a rock bottom and the win for the WWF Championship, so we can send the people home happy at WrestleMania 2000. Now that would end where we're initially going with Double J, Jeff Jarrett, staying with the WWF. Where would Jeff Jarrett go into Backlash? Now we know Steve Austin wouldn't be fully cleared to around the time of Survivor Series shortly there before Survivor Series, but Jarrett wouldn't get his full payback on Jeff Jarrett until Survivor Series. How does The Rock fare as champion after WrestleMania? How many times does Jarrett re-win the title? Jarrett would be solidified at this point as a top heel in the WWF. How do we go with Triple H going forward? Kurt Angle begins to become somebody. Chris Jericho is becoming somebody. Chris Benoit is becoming somebody at this point. Eddie Guerrero has come aboard. We start really getting an influx of great talent that could really work well along with Jeff Jarrett at this point. Bulldog is out of the mix by this time because the Bulldog had career-ending injury, unfortunately. But where does Jeff Jarrett go into 2000, staying with the WWF? How does Jeff Jarrett fare once they acquire WCW? This means we don't get TNA most likely. These are the questions we ask right here on Card Subject to Change. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. How do you think he would have fared? How do you think it would have went going forward? What would have happened with no TNA? I mean, wow, people. This is a real conundrum. But these are what we ask here on Card Subject to Change. But at the end of the day, remember, the card is always subject to change.